Real Rock 97.7 QLZ. It's Kaytie. On the phone with me right now, Godsmack drummer Shannon Larkin. You guys have been on the road for quite a while touring in support of 1000 Horsepower. You just added more dates through mid-November. That is a lot of time on the road. What made you decide to add more dates and extend this tour?
Well, we love the tour. I'll say that. It's probably the reward for all the hard work that becomes writing records and being trapped in a studio, and the reward for us is getting out there in front of people, and we toured the world in the last year and went to places we'd never been after a almost 20-year career. Like we hit Australia for the first time and Russia for the first time.
Ooh.
And so it's like it was a kind of rebirth for us and made us really like appreciate and enjoy being out on tour much more, and there's been no drama. We've been all just trying to not be like, oh, woe is me because I'm on tour. We're trying to enjoy every second of it as we get older. So this last leg, the main reason we want to do this is we didn't want to end the tour in Europe, number one. So we're an American band and wear it on our sleeve. So we wanted to come back and do one final run of America. And also we wanted to, dig into our catalog a bit. So we're going to be playing songs that we haven't played in many years. And we want to lighten it up and loosen up the show on this last leg, maybe throw some cover songs from bands we love in there. And, we even did this thing where, like VIP packages that bands sell, where we were like, how can we make this cool? So we're going to like bring fans that can buy these, VIP packages up on the stage so they can go have a bunch of fans on the side of the stage real close. So, mainly we want to loosen it up and have a blast before we have to go back in the studio and write the next record.
That's so cool. I like the idea of you guys constantly kind of evolving yourself and keeping it fresh. I mean, like you said, you've been a band for 20 years. You've been touring on and off for quite a while, and being able to do some different things is really exciting for the fans, I think.
It's exciting for us, too.
Yeah.
We get totally, sometimes you get in this, like, we mean business when we come out on that stage, and everything is really rehearsed, and we were like, wow. And I happened to see this video of The Who in 1975, and I just noticed how powerful the music was and how powerful the band was when they launched into their songs. But, it wasn't like every song like went right into the next song, and they had this loose attitude on stage where they were all just like having fun in between the songs, and it wasn't like rush right into the next song and meaning business so much. But when they played, the music's so powerful, and that's what it should be about, the music, right?
Damn sweet.
Rather than all the, segues and video and, all this pyro and like this huge show, which I also love seeing bands like that. But we've done that for the last year. And so we really want to just have fun on this tour and loosen up, get the fans more involved, get the crowd more involved, and maybe even crack a smile on that stage,
I love that. I love seeing bands. My favorite thing, I say it all the time, is I just want a band to go on stage and plug and play. I don't need flames and girls dancing everywhere. It's nice. It's cool to see. But when you can just plug and play and make me feel something, that's amazing.
Yes, that's what we want, man. That's what we're going for. Very
cool. I'm looking forward to it. Now, with all this freshness and newness that you're adding into it, I know that you guys, over the course of your tenure as a band, a lot of times you and Sully will do like a drum battle. Do you still plan on keeping that as part of the show, or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. That's one of our favorite parts to do in the show because, like I said, I'm trying to, like everything just seems to be so rehearsed, and that's the one part of the set that, although we have the arrangement is set and tight, but I get to actually play different every night. Like, when it comes to our little moment to get the drum fill in or whatever, it doesn't have to be the same fills we played the night before. So that's where we can actually be spontaneous and play from the top of the head, play off the cuff, you know what I mean? And so that's like our favorite part of the set. So you will definitely see that when we come through. And, and also with that, we've been doing that same arrangement for that solo for so long that, it's become like for our fans that have seen us time and time again, it's become almost like a song. They know the parts. And so we're definitely going to restructure that whole drum solo too while we're writing the next record.
Oh, wow. That's killer. So do you plan on, when you get off the road, because you're going to be on the road through mid-November, I think. When you get off, you'll obviously take a little bit of a break and kind of chill your minds out. But are you going to jump right back into the studio, or have you even talked about that at this point?
No, we talked about it. We're always talking about it. It's funny. It's like a football team or something. You're always talking about next year.
Yeah.
And so we're like, we've already written a bunch of songs even, and we're going to try and continue to write on tour. It's not as easy to write when you're on the road, but we have like a jam room backstage, and we're going to try and write as much as we can because we're definitely going to take some time off, probably, the rest of November, December, part of January, let the new year come in, and then we'll get back. And the plan is February, and we'll do it in Florida where Tony and I live, and we have a studio down there, and we'll start there, start writing a new record, get a batch of songs, and then go up to Boston where our headquarters is, and we have our recording studio up there that we can do our new record in. So everything's, planned. We don't have any kind of release date because we're definitely not in a position, luckily, that we have to rush, so we'll just take our time, make sure that we get something, fresh that we hope to, every band, you try and make your next record your best record ever. Mm-hmm. So our goals are lofty, but they haven't changed.
Of the stuff that you've been kind of playing with while you've been on the road, how does it feel in respects to your previous album? I mean, 1,000 Horsepower, I thought, was much different than some of your earlier albums. I think it still had that same Godsmack sound to it, but there was a freshness and a newness and almost an ease to the album. How do you feel that the stuff that you're working on right now sporadically is stacking up to that?
I think that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I don't want to give too much away, but I would say like the vein of the song 1,000 Horsepower and Something Different, those two songs were our favorites on the record. And, we'd like to continue in that path. Okay. Like just more high energy rock and roll, rather than the metal chunk or whatever, which, has been a part of our sound for so long, but we don't want to be one of those bands that just keeps making the same record over and over again, And we tried different things, like on the Thor record, we went for a bluesier sound. Everything is about influences, and we were definitely influenced as much by, say, Led Zeppelin as we were by Metallica, Mm-hmm. And so on the Thor record, we went for a more like bluesy Zeppelin-ish sound, and then the next record we went back to our heavy sound. And I think on 1,000 Horsepower we kind of landed on something that was, a little more punk rocky, mm-hmm. a little more Ramonesy, if you will, and AC/DC-ish. You know what I mean? And that's probably the direction that we're pushing for. As long as it's high energy, we want to experiment with some different sounds on the next record as far as guitar tones go. And, we're just going to try and keep it to where it's still tough sounding and aggressive and high energy, but with probably a more big rock sound.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing what continues to come from you. Now, people not everybody, I don't think, realizes how many bands and albums and things you've been a part of over the course of your life, Ugly Kid Joe being one of them. Did you have any involvement in this upcoming album with them?
I did.
Awesome.
Flew to New Orleans and spent 3 days with the band and did some drum tracks and wrote some lyrics with Whit. And, we did it. Ugly Kid Joe is a cool band in that, like, Dave Fortman and I left the band. Dave went on to be a famous producer. He did Slipknot, Mudvayne, as well as Godsmack's last record. And but he was the original guitar player when I was playing drums for Ugly. And so when he went off to be a producer, and I, of course, joined Godsmack, and the band broke up for a long time. And when we got back together, it was kind of, just say, let's see what happens. And we made something called Stairway to Hell, which came out, I think, 2 years ago. And it did actually good, and they went and toured. And anyway, they replaced Dave and I with a drummer named Zach Morris and a guitar player named Sonny Mayo, who previously I was in a band called Amen with, and then he went on to be in Seven Dust for a while, whatever. Anyway, Sonny and Zach are still in the band, Ugly Kid Joe, but Dave and I are still also in it. So we all, 5, 6, 7, all 7 of us flew to New Orleans and made the new Ugly Kid Joe record. And so it's kind of like when it lists the band, it says like drums, Zach Morris, drums, Shannon Larkin, and it's like we're like Whit likes to say, like we're like this one big dumb family.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing. I've heard the first song so far, and it sounds really sweet. I'm looking forward to that album hitting in the middle of October. Ugly Kid Joe's always been one of my favorite bands, so it'll be fun. It'll be really fun.
That's a fun band, I tell you.
Heck yeah.
There's so many stories I could tell you. Oh, my God.
I wish I had more time. I want to hear these stories.
Yeah, like for instance, when we were in New Orleans, we had gotten done. We'd been in the studio all day long, and Whitfield, the singer, he's been sober for many years, and we hadn't seen each other for a long time. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to drink beer with y'all tonight. And we're like, uh-oh, here he goes, And so anyway, we're all hanging out, and it's in a place called Covington, Louisiana. It's like 45 minutes from New Orleans, and it got to be 2 a.m. and all the beer was gone. It's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to get more beer. And Dave Fortman says, yeah, dude, I grew up here. There's no place to get beer. No one will give you beer. And he's like, no, I'll sweet talk the girl at the 7-Eleven or whatever. I'll get beer. And so Dave's like, dude, you know how many times I've tried to get beer? You will not get beer. Anyway, long story short, I go to Dave. I'm like, that's Whit Crane. I bet you $100 he comes back with beer. And so we're all hanging out from the hotel. And like 45 minutes later, we're starting to get worried about him because he hasn't drank in a while. He's drunk, wandering around trying to score beer, right? So about 45 minutes later, we're like, well, he's got a cell phone. And then here he comes, staggering up the road with a 6-pack of Sam Adams plus 2 Heinekens and like a handful of cigarettes. And we're like, and Dave Fortman reached in his wallet, handed me a $100 bill. He's like, dude, I should have never doubted Crane. And then we're like, dude, where did you get the beer? And he's like, you'll never know. He wouldn't tell us. So we're thinking, man. I don't know, maybe he saw somebody at their house and said, hey, and got beer and cigarettes from them. I don't know how he pulled it off. But, that's a man that came from Europe to America after having lost his passport and got into the United States somehow with his backstage pass.
There's always one friend in every bunch that can just get whatever they need at whatever time, whether it's beer or in backstage to a show or whatever. There's always somebody.
He's that dude.
That's awesome. It's a good friend to have because you'll always have a good time with them. That's killer. Shannon, thank you for talking to me. You made me laugh so hard this morning. I needed that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving me the time. And, hey, hopefully see you at the show.
Oh, definitely. We will see you in Springfield.
Awesome.
Thanks, Shannon. Have a good one.
You too.